coming to you from Comerica Park in Detroit, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Melky Cabrera, Avi Garcia, and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Miguel Cabrera, Ian Kinsler, Victor Martinez, and the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson. My partner, Steve Stone, will not be here for the next 2 days, and sitting in for him is a great friend and a former member of the White Sox, a member of the 2005 World Championship White Sox, Brian Anderson. Brian, welcome, buddy.
Appreciate you having me, Hawk.
I know that this is going to be the first time you've been on air during a ball game. You've done some post-game work, but all we're going to do in this next 2 days is we're going to sit here, we're going to look at each other, we're going to tell some lies, we're going to talk some baseball, and have some fun.
Doesn't sound better than that. I mean, you were one of my two favorites, you and Vince Scully, so all I can ask for is to sit here and talk ball with you.
Well, you got in yesterday, and we took a doubleheader. We won the first game 2-0, and a one-hitter by Jeff Samardzija, and then Eric Johnson picked up his third victory last night in that win, and we've got 2 games left on this road trip here, and then we go to New York for 4, so we got to be playing for a little pride and hopefully a little spoiler.
Yeah, well, you got to. I mean, this is also September. This is Rick Hahn, Kenny Williams, Jerry Reinsdorf. Gets a look at some of these young bucks coming up, evaluate them, and some of these guys are going to be playing for a spot next year.
All right, it'll be Jose Quintana on the bump for us tonight, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Audi, truth in engineering. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
And welcome back to beautiful Comerica Park to the third of this 4-game set. As you know, that doubleheader yesterday was a day-nighter, and it was well worth every minute of it. And Brian, you played in some day-nighters yourself, and those things are not the easiest thing in the world to do. But when you win them both, you don't even think about it.
No, you don't. I'll tell you what, it's a long day, even for the pitchers that aren't throwing that day. But Samardzija's an absolute stud. I mean, obviously, he's not going to go out there and throw like that every single time, but that's what the White Sox expect. They expect him to go out there, pound the zone with that fastball, and put him away with that nasty slider.
He didn't hang one slider, not one breaking ball the whole game. You don't see a pitcher do that very often.
No, you don't. I mean, Jeff knows what he's capable of doing. He's got a nasty sinker. You can throw it down the middle. It's going to break into right-handers down and away from lefties. And he's got that unbelievable slider, and he also can throw 96, which does not hurt.
And Eric Johnson in game 2, all he did was go out and pick up his third victory. Eric in that game went 6 innings, giving up the 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, and he had career high 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, I didn't. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see him. I was on a flight in here, and I got here a little late. But from what I was able to see on the highlights, he has a nasty off-speed pitch. I caught a couple. We got a couple pitches there. I couldn't figure out if it was a slider or a split finger, but the right-handers just had no chance.
Yeah, that slider of his was late and quick breaking with some depth on it. And you know yourself, being a right-handed hitter and a strong right-handed hitter, when you get one that's late breaking with depth, you got a problem.
Yeah, you got no chance. It was very Zach Greinke-esque. That slider of his, it's 88, and you know, it disappears pretty quick.
All right, the Tigers have taken the field. So right now, let's check out our lineups. This one handed in by Robin Ventura, and they're the top third of Eaton, Abreu, and Thompson. Middle third of Cabrera, Garcia, Ramirez. And the bottom third of Carlos Sanchez, Tyler Flowers, and Tyler Saladino. And let's check out the Tigers defensively from left to right in the outfield. Davis, Ghost, and J.D. Martinez around the horn. Nick Castellanos, Dixon Machado, Ian Kinsler, Miguel Cabrera, and the battery of James McCann and the 22-year-old right-hander Daniel Norris. This youngster out of Johnson City, Tennessee, 6'2", 195 pounds, comes in. This will be the 6th start with the Tigers. Overall, he is 2-2 with a 4.28. With Detroit, he is 1-1 with a 4.68. And he is going to feature a 4-seam fastball, pitch around 92, maybe a little higher, 93, 94. And he's got a sinker. That'll be 92 and down. Slider, a changeup, and a curveball. So if he's getting them over, the hitters got their work cut out for him.
They do. I mean, he was the main piece in that David Price trade a few months back. The Tigers got big plans for him. So, I mean, he's not the hardest thrower ever, but the few times I've seen him pitch, he's gotten the job done.
And he is the Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher for Detroit. As we check out the men in blue, Trip Gibson behind the plate, Tom Woodring at first, Stu Sherwater at second, and crew chief Brian Gorman over at third. So we're just about set for the first pitch of the ball game. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as Adam Eaton stands in. Adam 2 for 4 in game 1 yesterday with an RBI. And that is taken up high. Adam comes in hitting at 281, 13 homers, 49 knocked in. Sox hitting at 252 as a club with a 4.00 team ERA. Outfield slightly to the left. You get Castellanos. And at the grass at third to take away that bunt. And you've been out in center field here. That's a spacious center field, isn't it?
I'm actually surprised center fielders playing so much to the left, because Adams can pull the ball. He's got a little pop to right field. He's got 12, 13 homers this year.
Well, he's hit a couple bombs out.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Spanky can hit. I worked out with him in the weight room in spring training. He's sitting there doing deadlifts and, one arm, whatever AT calls him, but said 80 to 100 pounds in each hand. So Spanky's tough as nails.
Full count. He also has a 10-game hitting streak going for him, and the payoff pitch. And he can have some extended at bats. It's the first time we've had a leadoff hitter in a long time, if ever, in the last 30 years, that can have those 9, 10, 11, 12 pitch at bats.
No, he's tough. He's a prideful hitter. He's got great power. He strikes out a little bit too much, I'm sure, in the White Sox eyes, but that happens sometimes.
Dixon Machado, and they just do get him. So with one out, let's check out our picks to click. Your man Joe and the crew, they're going to go with Adam Eaton. Brian and Steve, they're going to go with Trace Thompson and David Novak and all the great folks at Poogie Hyundai in Downers Grove. We're going to go with Carlos Sanchez. So here was last week's co-American League Player of the Week, along with Prince Fielder. And I know you watch a lot of our ball games, and you got to be really pleased with the way this guy can swing that bat.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he? I mean, Miguel Cabrera is just the best there is in the game, but this guy's not too far behind. I mean, you watch this approach, the first swing he just took, he's late, but that's on purpose. I mean, he's not hooking the ball, he's letting that ball travel.
That pitch is up high. He comes in hitting at 295, 29 homers, 96 knocked in. And of course, still trying to chase the elusive 30 and 100 for the second year that he's been in the big leagues. Only one guy has ever done that, and that's Albert Pujols. Hit 30 or more home runs, drove in 100 or more runs the first 2 years they were in the major leagues.
Wow. That's not a bad comparison. I wouldn't mind being compared to that guy.
Two and two the count. None of our guys have ever seen Norris before. Outfield shading him to the right. Nice gap out there in left center if he can find it. Ate him up right there. Good pitch. So Miggy will take it himself. And that's out number 2. And here at Comerica Park, 345 down the left field line, 330 down the right field line, 365 in right center, 370 in left center, and 420 dead away center.
You really got to hit it out of there, don't you? That's unbelievable.
That's all you go over that center field wall, BP here.
Yeah, BP's a little bit different story. Lights come on and get fisted quite a bit. Some of those fastballs in.
Well, here's your good friend, Trace Thompson.
This kid, I'm telling you what, White Sox fans should be really excited about him. He's got a great approach. He comes from an athletic family. In my opinion, I mean, even though I grew up a Lakers fan watching his dad when I was really young, he might be the best athlete out of all of them. And he's the runt. He's 6'3" or 6'4". He's the runt of the family.
Yeah, I've said before, they got him listed as 6'3". He's the biggest 6'3" I've ever seen.
No doubt. He's not the guy you want to guard on the basketball court. I mean, he's probably playing point guard. He's every high school kid's worst nightmare.
Well, he's hitting 342, 4 homers, 13 knocked in. He's already got 8 doubles and 2 triples. We have some good young homegrown players for a change. Trace yesterday had a triple and a double. In the first game, he was 0 for 4. Hitting 3 double plays, and he hit 3 bullets.
Jeez. I think I saw Scott Merkin tweet something about that yesterday, saying, you know, Trace might be he thinks he's a homer and a single away from the cycle. I said, well, those are not easy things to do, you know.
2 out, and the payoff pitch. Stops that one foul. He's probably, for a young hitter, already gone 3-2. As much as, if not more, than anybody on our ball club.
Yeah, I mean, wish I could say the same about me early on in my career. I felt like every time I stepped in there, I was 0-2. Some of those guys in the AL Central, I mean, they get you 1-2, 0-2 in a hurry.
High pop up. Gill hobbling in. He's good on those. He'll make the catch. That'll be turned aside. So a 1-2-3 inning for young Daniel Norris. And after a happening in play, our guys nothing, and their guys coming to bat. Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha, yes. I got my money in Kenosha. And let's check out Grant Ausmus's starting lineup. There you see top third of Davis, Kinsler, and Cabrera. Victor Martinez will be the DH. He's a cleanup hitter. J.D. Martinez having a big year for the Tigers. He's hitting fifth. Castellanos in the sixth hole. Lower third of McCann, Machado, and Gose. And defense will be our guys, Cabrera, Eaton, and Thompson, left to right. Saladino, Ramirez, Sanchez, Abreu, and a battery of Tyler Flowers, and our 26-year-old southpaw. Our Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Jose Quintana. There are his numbers. He's making his 31st start, and the first pitch of the ball game to Rajai Davis is taken for a strike. Rajai comes in hitting at 248, 7 homers, 26 knocked in. He's had good success against Jose. He's 12 for 38. Yeah, he's 13 for 39.
You got to take those all the time. Those broken bat hits to the left. I mean,
those are Kansas City specials.
That's right. You get 100 of those a year, you make a lot of money.
Just ate him up. People are saying, why are you calling those Kansas City specials? Those little broken bat flares, duck snorts everywhere. Well, I say that complimentary. I wish our guys, as you just mentioned, I wish our guys could get more of them.
They all look the same in the scorebook.
And they all look the same when runs cross the plate.
No doubt.
So here's Kinsler. Ian Kinsler, best friend of Brian Anderson when they were growing up. That ball hit hard into right field, but we got a man there.
I mean, secretly, we try not to offend any White Sox fans. I hope he does well. I want him to go, 2 for 4, but I hope he hits 2 doubles and gets, thrown out at third base. As long as no runs score.
Boy, he has been a good player since he has come into this league. Actually, he's been one of the most under the radar players.
Yeah, he never really played in the New York or Boston environment, even Chicago. He played in Texas. They always had great teams, but there's so much other stuff going on in Dallas that sometimes that can get overlooked.
Cabrera takes first pitch strike. Miguel 1 for 4 last night, and he has had good success against Quintana. 30 at bats, 11 hits, 10 of them stayed in the park.
Yeah, this guy hasn't flown under the radar. Now that you mention it,
he's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, when Paul Konerko tells you, it makes him sick how good he is sometimes, and look at Paulie's numbers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this guy is just on a different level.
Well, he's been hurt all year, BA, and his swing hadn't been the same, and he's still leading the league in hitting.
Yeah, I was watching him run for that ball, that pop-up last inning. We might be better off just bunting to first base and just running and beating him back to the bag.
Tell you what, that's not a bad idea if you got some guys that can execute.
I mean, he barely got there on that fly ball. I mean,
yeah,
which you got to commend him for going out there and playing when he's not 100%. I mean, that's how you
make a lot of fans.
No doubt.
He played 2 years ago in 2 big series against us when he could hardly walk. And he beat us a couple of games in each series. Hitting .337, 17 homers, 73 knocked in. That ball lined hard into right field. Trace trying to make a play at second.
Yeah, you don't blame him. I mean, Rajai Davis was kind of gliding in there. Didn't really expect the throw. That was almost a play.
Plus, it shows you how hard that ball was hit.
Yeah, Hawk, I watched him hit BP today, Miguel Cabrera. And for all you kids watching out there, he did this probably his first 50 swings, and then he started trying to go hit some home runs. And when he was doing that, he was hitting home runs to dead center.
Well, you and I were talking before the game. If you're going to try to get young kids on the right path, especially kids who look like they have some talent, batting practice is so important. Because if you could get them to the point, don't ever let them swing the bat in batting practice unless they're trying to do something with the ball. Yep. Like you said, Miggy was trying to hit it to right field. Then he'd go to center for a few. Then he might try to take a few in the seats and left. You got to know what you're trying to do with that bat.
Absolutely.
Here's Victor. He is 13 for 27 lifetime against Jose, as there's a strike on the breaking ball. Victor playing hurt all season. He's hitting a .243, 10 homers, and 60 RBIs. That would be one of the best things you could tell a young player. Don't swing the bat in batting practice unless you know what you're trying to do with the ball.
Yeah, it makes me sick thinking about all the times that you get caught up, because look who I played with, Hall of Famers, borderline Hall of Famers.
Ball hit hard but foul.
And some of these guys like Konerko and Tomey, they're such amazing power hitters, and you can get caught up in batting practice because it's fun. It's fun to hit a ball 20 rows back, but in the game, the ball's not coming in at 60 miles an hour. It's coming at 96.
Well, we touched on it in our conversation. Preparation is huge.
Yeah, you got to trust your preparation. All those kids out there, high school kids, college, even the minors, you really have to trust preparation and believe in what you're doing, or else these pitchers will expose you.
That ball in the dirt. Tyler with a pick. Quintana 0-2 this year against the Tigers, 4-3 lifetime. But you've been following us. You know what a tough luck pitcher this guy has been since he's been in a White Sox uniform, not just in 2015, in 2014, 2013, 2012.
Yeah, this is the first year I've gotten a chance to really follow him a little bit, and he's gotten a little bad luck in his corner, but he's pitching really well as of late. What is he, 2-0 with a sub-1 ERA right now? And his record is definitely does not justify how well he's pitched.
Well, he's ranked the 8th best pitcher in Major League Baseball by some.
Wow.
That breaking ball, yank foul. And if he can get a win tonight, this will be the first time in his career he's won 4 in a row.
But baseball's not always fair to the people who play really well or play hard or go about their business the right way.
Well, it's an old saying, and if you heard it since you got into the game, if it was that easy, everybody'd be playing it.
Yeah, there's only, what is there, 600-700 players in the whole world doing this?
Yep. Outfield straight up, spread out, about equidistant. Victor in his career has been one of the best clutch hitters in the game.
Amazing teammate too. I had a privilege of playing with him in Boston for a little bit. We went on a little playoff run, and goes about his business the right way. Has his kid out there every day for BP, and couldn't ask for a better teammate. There if you need him. Any questions you got, concerns.
Jim Thome says the same thing about him. Absolutely loves it.
Can play too. He's not just a nice guy.
Yeah. In his career, not just against us, in his career, he's a .306 hitter with runners in scoring position. Okay, take your time. He can't run, and rack him up. So he gets the double play, and after one, there is no score. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Second inning, no score. It'll be Cabrera, Avi Garcia. And while we have a moment, we'll send out a big White Sox hello and shout out with a lot of love to Georgia Reynolds, watching in Tucson, Arizona. And who is Georgia?
Well, Georgia knows exactly who she is. It's my grandmother in Tucson, and she's going to kill me for doing that. But, Grandma, thank you so much for all those back tickles, and you still give them to me, so you're just going to have to deal with it. She's been slacking lately, though, Hawk. She says she's getting old, but I don't buy it.
That's pretty good curveball right there from Norris. Melky at 276, 11 homers, 73 driven in. Yeah, why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 1 out. Well, so far we've seen 4 hitters. He's retired them all. He's got a pretty good fastball. He's got a good curveball. We'll have to see how the changeup is. What was the pitch that you hated to hit most off a left-hander?
Well, I was so lucky to have Cliff Lee and Johan Santana and CC Sabathia in our league. And just when you thought you'd be able to catch up to CC's 96, he'd backdoor slider you and walk off looking at you funny, and just to hang with him.
That ball fell back. Well, I am coming exactly the same way you are. I'd rather hit against right-handers than left-handers, being a right-handed hitter.
Yeah.
Those good left-handers get you out. The guy behind the plate, McCann, is a good young catcher. And they think he's going to be their catcher of the future. Now, Brian Holiday, who caught last night, he really looks well behind that plate against us as that pitch is fouled back. And, of course, they've got Alex Avila. When he's healthy, he calls as good a game as there is in the league.
Yeah. I was speaking with Ian Kinsler a little bit before the game, and I was actually asking where he was. I mean, Vila, I was kind of like, where is he? But I understand he's been hurt in and out and having a difficult year staying healthy, but I've always been a fan of his.
Machado. And you can join us at US Cellular Field on Saturday, October 3rd, as our Sox host these Tigers at 6:10. Now, the first 10,000 fans will receive an exclusive stretch sale action figure, and that's really a good one. That arm goes way back, the legs stretch out. That's October 3rd. So for tickets, visit whitesox.com. Pitch is popped up. JD too far to go, and it's not going to be playable.
You got to get me one of those stretch Chris Sale figurines.
They're neat. They're really neat. Yeah, I saw one in Brooks' office the other day before he left, and that's the first time I've seen one like that.
Well, I got to razz him. He's so good at everything. I think that Stretch Armstrong is a little bit too big. It outweighs Chris Sale a little bit.
That's a hang with him for Alexei, and that is 6 up, 6 down for Daniel Norris. He leads the defending champions onto the ice for a preseason battle with the rival Red Wings, starting tomorrow night at 6:30 on CSN Plus.
Are they good, Hawk?
To me, they're the most fun team in sports to watch. When they're healthy.
Wow. I mean, we won a championship in 2005. They came in and won 3.
Yeah.
And what? I think they won 3 championships in 2 years.
No score, bottom of the second. J.D. Martinez comes in hitting at .281, but he has 37 homers and he's knocked in 96. And that's a perfect approach to a left-hander right there. Beat him arm side for a right-handed hitter.
That kid's about to make a lot of money, Hawk.
He should.
I mean, he resurrected his career. I mean, you see the way he goes the other way with his pitch right here. I mean, when he was with Houston, I think he was real inconsistent. He came over here, kind of did what Jose Batista did. He kind of looked at himself in the mirror and said, I'm not doing as well as I should be doing. He came here, and I mean, he's going to be a $100 million player. I hope they brought the checkbook.
Yeah. Well, Batista became Batista when he started that leg kick.
Mm-hmm.
Castellanos, he's just 23 years old. Takes first pitch strike. Nick's 2 for 4 in this series and 6 for 20 lifetime off Quintana.
It's amazing some of these guys' ages, Hawk. Like, I mean, you just said he's 23 years old. It seems like all these, this youth movement coming out right now. Everyone's 23, 24, 25 years old, and they're impact players in the game.
It's beautiful to see. It's just beautiful to see, Brian. Baseball is well positioned for a long time to be a very, very exciting game. All right, back him up. Second double play turn, 2 down. Yeah, these good young players. I've never seen this many good young players headed up by Bryce Harper, Mike Trout. And then you look around at the shortstops that we're seeing now making plays that we've never seen made before. Swinging the bats. Kid Correa at Houston.
He's unbelievable. When I was in Puerto Rico playing winter ball when he was out there, I think he was 17 years old, and you could tell he was going to be something special. Didn't have it figured out yet. You tell there's some kinks that need to be ironed out. Didn't have it figured out, but you could tell he had the tools.
Here's McCann. You mentioned J.D. Martinez resurrecting his career. I want to talk to you about that next inning when we have the 3 outs to work with, because you're very familiar with that. There's a breaking ball strike and a count 1-1. McCann, 270, 7 homers, 36 knocked in limited action. Two and 1 to count. Virtually no wind, as opposed to last night when it was brisk. Pretty good pitch, didn't get it. And the 3-1 delivery. McCann was just a .266 minor league hitter. So he's showing some production up here, hitting more, 270, 17 doubles, 5 triples.
Reminds me of another McCann, Brian McCann. He was in single A, double A, was hitting 260, 270. Gets called to the big leagues, the best hitting catcher in baseball now.
Yeah. So the second double play turn by our Sox, and we are going to the third scoreless. fan. Hashtag Chicago Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. It'll be Sanchez, Flowers, and Saladino as Daniel Norris has retired the first 6. But getting back, you mentioned J.D. Martinez, you mentioned Jose Bautista, guys who are just ordinary players, and all of a sudden they looked in that mirror, and mirror told them they could be a lot better, and they went out and tried to do something. You were a 5-tool player. You could run. You could throw. You caught everything that was hitting the center field. And it just didn't work out. And I know you tried to make a comeback. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, I mean, I talk to a lot of younger players now. I help coach it a little bit. And I tell them, self-doubt is the single most crippling character trait a person can have. I mean, you play this game, you're the top 600, 500, 600, 700 players in the world. You have to go out when you get on that diamond. You got to believe in that. And I think sometimes when you doubt yourself, the fans get involved and it just snowballs. I mean, it takes you a year to get back, and you never really quite find your way again.
Tyler, that souvenir right side. Tyler hitting at 226, 9 homers, 38 driven in. But for the fans out there who are familiar with Brian, we used to promote him as a 5-tool player. And then for the younger ones, he could hit it as far as anybody. Is that softly hit right side? Kinsler's got him. 2 down.
You look at a player like Paul Konerko. I mean, Paul Konerko got paid to hit. And there's no doubt that guy earned every single one of his hits. Never, I'm sure, in 15 years did you ever call Paul Konerko beat the ball out, hit to the shortstop, or there's a ball in the hole and Paulie beats it out.
No.
So that just goes to show you how great of a hitter was. Guys with speed like myself and Saladino and Adam Eaton. I mean, they're going to get 15 hits a year just by beating them out.
Here's another guy you really like, Tyler.
This kid goes about his business the right way. This time, I think he was in big league camp. Was he in big league camp rehabbing or something? But I spent pretty much every day with him, and he's just a joy to be around. He goes about his business the right way. Always a smile on his face. 0 for 4, 2 for 4, home run. It doesn't matter, and you need that in the clubhouse. I think he brings a lot of energy in that clubhouse, some much needed energy this time of year.
When he first came up, he changed the personality of this ball club. And you know yourself, in this game, something that you didn't have, unfortunately. In this game, you got to have a short memory.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the best players in the game go over 4 3 Ks. And, I mean, I watched Jermaine Dye almost have 5 strikeouts one game. I think the game before he had a home run. He let the game off the next game with a home run.
Guys who don't have short memories make it really hard on themselves. That's one reason I'm hoping that we can go ahead and finish up. We've got one more tomorrow with these guys. Then we go to New York for 4 and go in there and beat those guys and be spoilers. And then come home and have a good homestand and have something positive to think about over the winter. That's hit hard. Meanwhile, right at him, that's a hang woofle. And that's 9 up, 9 down for Norris. be Latin music and dancing, special activities for kids, and on-field parade. Also, a post-game fireworks show. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Miller Lite official beer of your Chicago White Sox. The tickets start as low as $10. Visit whitesox.com/NHH. And sitting in for Steve Stone, who will not be here tonight or tomorrow afternoon, is former center fielder Brian Anderson. And it's always, Brian's always got a smile on his face, and it's always nice to see. But right here, here's Dixon Machado. Shortstop, he's 23 years old. And he takes first pitch strike. As you well know, this is certainly a disappointing year for us. Disappointing year for Detroit. Disappointing year for Boston. Disappointing year for San Diego. Disappointing year for Seattle.
I mean, on paper,
That's
White
right.
Sox look unbelievable. Boston, Tigers.
Yeah.
Tigers and White Sox look better than anybody on paper, but
It's baseball. Low throw. Nice pick by Abreu.
all these GMs every single year they go into spring training that happen. Get an opportunity, go out there and start fresh every year. You put yourself in a hole real quick playing this game.
Well, we did it because we didn't catch the ball the first month. And defense, as you know, will put you in a hole faster than anything. Tear a team down quicker than anything.
Well, defense kept me around for 5 years. I think Kenny and Rick were trying to get rid of me. Let's make a couple diving plays and stick around. Fool them into one more season.
And, of course, Brian, in that historic game 163 against Twins, caught the last out.
I had to time that one just perfectly. I think that one might be one of those catches we're talking about. You know, as Griffey would always say, sometimes when you see guys on SportsCenter, it's probably because they misjudged it. I had plenty of time to get there. I think I just gave it a little false step and give something fans to cheer about.
And Anthony Ghost lines one hard into center field. So good speed aboard. He has 21 stolen bases, but he's been thrown out 10 times.
Anthony Ghost can hit. I mean, I think they ideally would like to have him hitting at the top of the lineup. I know Rajai Davis is a great player, but he's a little bit older. He's probably more of a, spell you here and there guy now. He could probably start on a few other teams, but in Detroit, I really think they anticipate Anthony Ghost leading off or worst case hitting in the second hole.
Here's Rajai. He got a base hit. Soft, broken bat base hit. Takes first pitch strike.
Rajai Davis and I played against each other in the High A, or played with each other in the High A Carolina League All-Star game. This guy's always flown under the radar, but he's a great player.
He's been good against us, I'll tell you that. He has beaten us a lot.
And every time I turn on SportsCenter a few years ago when he was with Blue Jays, I believe, it seems like he was always legging out a triple or hitting a double. He's one of those sleeper players that you don't hear much about because look at the team he's on.
Yeah.
And you better hit 340 with 25 at least before they start mentioning your name. They got probably 4 or 5 All-Stars on that team.
The 0-2 pitch. There he goes. Now time was called, so he'll go back. And right now it's time for the AT&T UVerse Multi-View.
What was your take on that, Hawk? I mean, did you like that when runners, skittish runners on first base like to steal a lot? I mean, I know some of the players, right-handed hitters, didn't like that too much. They were like either go or don't go, but the bouncing around and
Yeah, first base didn't bother me. It bothered me at second.
Yeah. think the only time I ever saw Jermaine Dye get mad was at Orlando Cabrera, which great teammates, both of them. Orlando Cabrera, great teammate, but he's dancing around like Cabby used to do, throw the pitcher off, and Jermaine just absolutely lost it on him.
Yeah, there are a lot of good. That ball's in the dirt, and that's going to be a wild pitch. It'll be the 5th wild pitch for Jose.
Anthony Ghost does a great job of reading this ball down. I mean, it doesn't hurt that he's probably one of the top 10 fastest players in baseball, but I mean, they teach that all the way up through Little League, high school, college baseball. You got to read that off-speed pitch in the dirt.
Yes, he did. He gone.
That might be one of my favorite memories as a White Sox Hawk, watching how mad Jermaine Dye and Orlando Cabrera were at each other, and it was hilarious because they went in the dugout and they were toe-to-toe, and Cabrera grabbed his helmet in one hand and a bat in the other. And we're like, Cab, you can't do that. Like, that's your teammate. He goes, well, he's 6'5", 240. I got to bring a weapon or else I have no chance. But we all got a kick out of that, and they started laughing about 2 minutes later.
Yeah, well, Orlando was not afraid.
No, and you love that.
That's right.
I mean, he's 5'8" versus 6'5". He didn't stand a chance, but he wasn't going to back down.
So here is Kinsler with 2 out. But the thing I remember most about, 2 things about Orlando Cabrera. First of all, he was a winner. That's number 1. He was a winner.
Yes.
He knew how to play the game, and he was a winner. Number 2, he's the fastest guy after a game out of the clubhouse I have ever seen in my life.
Quicker than Noguchi, huh?
Oh, unbelievable. Ray Durham, former second baseman for us. Ray Durham and Noguchi were tied for second.
I was going to time Tadahito Gucci one time to see how quick he got out of there, but I didn't even have time to get my stopwatch. He was already gone. Never saw him naked one time, and that's something because you see him in the you're with the guy changing 180 times a year, 190 times a year. You figure you get one glance,
2 outs, 1-1 to count. Funny how you mentioned guys' names and how certain things you think about.
It's a long season.
Yeah, it is. That was paramount in the 2005 World Championship team too, was the chemistry you guys had.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, even having Gucci's translator out there, he had no idea what we were saying, but there'd be a few times I think that we caught him when he'd fly out or strike out, he would curse in Spanish. So we all got a kick out of that. Uribe finally looked at him like, what are you doing? he had 2 different language choices, English or Japanese, and he went with Spanish. Had a kick out of that.
The 1-2 pitch. And that's chop foul. Yeah, that was a special ball club, as was the '83 White Sox. That team started off 14-26, wound up winning 99 games, and had probably the best chemistry of any club I've ever seen.
Yeah. Ours was good in 2005, that was for sure, even with AJ. And I hope he's listening too.
Well, if he's not playing, he is.
Well, I'm sure he's in there digging himself, trying to watch highlights or something from years past.
He's a piece of work, isn't he?
Tell you what.
But he's a winner.
That guy could win.
You better believe it.
It's funny. All these people that think he's mean and he's a real jerk. He's got everybody fooled. He's a softie. I talk to him more than anybody. Him and Konerko.
He's hitting .294 for the Braves this year. He's having a big year for him.
Yeah, the joke was on Atlanta on that one. I think they got him saying, hey, he'll be happy with backing that youngster up. And AJ had plans of starting all along, that's for sure. AJ doesn't do well backing up, I don't think.
Well, he's got the major league record for catchers for consecutive seasons catching 1,000 or more innings.
He's right up there with Orlando Cabrera, like we talked about. He's a winner. Love the guy, hate the guy, whatever your opinion is of him, you want that guy on the field with you.
Ate him up good. Abreu gets back now. And that'll retire the side. We're into the fourth. Still no score. Has the most Bears coverage on TV, and tonight at 11 it's another edition of the Antrell Roll Show. Here with the starting safety has to say about last week's setback and this week's challenge against the defending NFC champion Seahawks. They're good, so don't miss the Antrell Roll Show tonight at 11 on CS in Chicago. Young Daniel Norris has not allowed a base runner. He has retired the first 9 he has seen. So we go back to the top of the order here. Adam Eaton. Adam grounded out to short. And it's easy to see why this young man figured prominently in that David Price deal.
Yeah, I mean, early on in the game here, he's definitely throwing really well. But part of me wants to see if he does do something special tonight, what he'd buy his teammates. I mean, remember when Mark Burley had a couple special evenings and took care of us, whoever started those games, and threw well. I'm sure he took care of Dwayne Wise for that catch, but I mean, this kid pitching lives in a van during spring training, so what is he going to buy his teammates if for some reason he does something incredible tonight?
He lives in a van, huh?
Yeah.
That is strikeout number 2 for Norris. You mean he lives in a van in spring training and during the season as well?
During the season, I'm sure he ponies up some cash and rents a 1-bedroom carpeted apartment. But they did a whole special on him in spring training last year, and I think they were saying how that was his first big purchase. He spent $5 or $10 grand on a van and just lives out of it, cooks beans, and just hangs out by the beach.
Here's Abreu. Jose grounded out to first. So Cabrera. Well, each to his own. Gap out there in left center again. Watch out.
It truly is incredible from this vantage point with someone who has as much power as Abreu and Cabrera, and seeing the shift that each defense plays on. I mean, center field's 5-10 steps towards right. Left is straight up, but I mean, even he might be able to leg out a triple right now if he hits it to left center.
Yeah, see, if he gets that corner out there, the only thing that would keep him would be the speed of Anthony Gose.
That's true.
Here's the 1-1. Just on the inside corner. This is the 15th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 14, we have split them. We have played 8 games here, and we have split those. That fastball at 94, so he's got enough juice.
He can run it up there, but in this league, you better hit your spots, which he has been doing. The pitch before he went in on Abreu, and it's tough to get to that pitch there on the black.
Can't do it unless you hit it foul. And there's that changeup. So 2 down. Good motion on that change.
Yeah, I mean, everything, all the arm speed, same arm slots coming out. I mean, when you make Jose Abreu swing at a pitch down and away like that, you're doing something right.
Here's Trace. He popped up to Cabrera.
He's probably had the best at bat so far off of Norris. First at bat, I think he popped up, but he was taking really good swings early in the count.
And he worked another full count off of him. He's always, I mean, from the first time he came to spring training with us, he's always carried himself very well. You know, he's always carried himself like a major league player.
I wonder where he got that from.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? When
He's
your dad's
good
got
genes.
Yeah, your dad's got a couple championships. Your brother just won one, and
he jammed him. That's in the hole. Castellanos makes a good play to get him. And that's another 1-2-3 inning. It's 12 in a row retired by Daniel Norris. Game. So tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Chicago Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Here is Miguel Cabrera. He'll be followed by Victor Martinez and JD Martinez. Cabrera shot a hard single in the right field his first trip. Takes first pitch strike. And getting back to Trace Thompson. You were with him quite a bit in spring training.
Yeah, one thing I was most impressed about with him is his brother was winning an NBA championship while we were in spring, and having to field all those questions.
Ball deep in the right field, but we got a man there, and his name is Trace Thompson.
How ironic. Yeah, he was, every single day fielding questions about his brother. And I love my family very much, but when you go out there and you're trying to make a name for yourself, that gets annoying. It taxed him. You could tell he was visually, he was worn out from it, but he still kept his composure. He didn't lose it on the media. It was every day. 30-something straight days. You know, how's your brother? How do you feel about this? And so on and so forth. And he went out there and worked hard and made it to the big leagues. And
he's going to be here for a while.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Victor hit into a 4-6-3 double play, one of 2 turned by our guys. We turned one in the first and one in the second innings.
It's funny how we were talking about Quintana and how he's kind of had some bad luck throughout his career, and here he is, you know, 3 1/3 innings the way through, and he's getting out pitched, and he hasn't given up any runs.
The other guy hadn't given up any hits.
Yeah.
It's always something with him.
Yep.
It's either the other guy has an outstanding, as there's a curveball strike, has an outstanding outing against him, the other pitcher, or we don't score him any runs, or we make some errors behind him, give up some unearned runs, or he leaves with a lead and the bullpen gives it up.
Baseball's a funny game, Hawk, because you know you've been around this game a long time. There's that saying, you learn something new every day in baseball, but sometimes you see things that it's mind-boggling and you just can't make any sense of it.
You should have seen the 9th inning we had not too long ago. I've never seen anything like that in my whole career. You think you've seen it all, and you haven't seen any part of it. That's the beautiful thing about this beautiful game.
Look at that young man out, and I think he's with Atlanta. Is it Shelby Miller? He's gone how many starts without a win? Or, I mean, with his type of stuff,
he's got good stuff.
He's got ace staff stuff. You know, potentially Cy Young award-winning stuff, and he can't sniff a win right now.
Full count to Victor. And there's a little looper. So 2 out. And here is JD. He had a beautiful approach to pitch away, lined it into right field for a base hit.
I spoke with Kinsler before the game, and he said he does an incredible job in batting practice of really staying inside the ball, and that's not pushing it over there, as you know. That's driving the ball up the middle the other way. I know I've been guilty plenty of times of trying to force the ball and smother it and shoot it the other way, and oftentimes it just leads to soft liners and soft ground balls to second base.
Well, when you were with us, as you know, I thought you just outdumbed yourself a lot. I thought you thought too much. I told you before, let your talent play. Let your talent work for you. You know, at times with the talent you had, there's not a position player on this field right now in either team that had more talent than you had. And you just, you know, you thought too much. And, you know, you worried about where the hands were, you know, thinking behind the plate, all that stuff.
Well, you spend so much time beating yourself up. Because, to be honest, the first time I really struggled, and I'm talking struggle, like having a bad month or two, was in the big leagues. And in those major cities, Chicago, New York, Philly, Boston, you know, the fans don't care. They don't want to see you iron out your swing. In the big leagues, they want game ready. They want you to produce right away. And I don't blame them.
Nice pitch. He gone. 1, 2, 3 innings. And we're into the 5th.
for New Amsterdam vodka that taste is award-winning smoothness. So when you're with your friends, lift a glass to your team. New Amsterdam, it's your town. First pitch. Well, BA, we've got to do something here. We got to get a base hit.
Yeah, we got to clean it up. That's for sure. I mean, I know we not even 2 times through the lineup, but something's got to be cleaned up around here.
That pitch fouled away.
No disrespect to Daniel Norris, but you know, there's guys that throw a lot harder with a lot better breaking stuff that get hit, and we're just not getting it done right now.
There's a strike. Our club, even when you were with us, he's not a soft tossing left-hander, but our club against left-handers that we haven't seen before and our soft tossing left-handers always gave us trouble.
Yep. You know, as I say that, I'm comparing him to the greats in the game, and he goes and throws 95 for a strike. But I mean, mentioned before that this was the key piece in that David Price deal. You aren't going to give up a Cy Young Award winner, ace pitcher, unless you know you're getting something huge in return. And this kid's got huge upside. He's young. He's 22, and so he's got it pretty figured out.
Beware of those guys who live in vans.
Down by the river.
Here's Ivy. He grounded out to short.
Always got to give a plug to Chris Farley when you can. Chicago guy.
Jacks it up. If you're just tuning in, he's got a fastball. He's shown us a good curveball. He's shown us a good change that he threw to Abreu. If you're left-handed, you can get those 3 pitches over. You are going to give somebody some problems.
That's one thing I have noticed from start to finish here is, other than Trace in his first at bat taking a swing and fouling it back, no one's really looked too comfortable. You haven't seen anybody line out or, fly out to deep center, which tells you the pitcher's doing a phenomenal job mixing up speed and location.
That ball hit hard. But they got a man there, and he's a good one.
Speaking of predictions, Hawk, you might have made a prediction about Kinsler.
After the first series. Yep, after the first series. We played them down in Texas. They came back and played us a week or 2, 3 weeks later. And I called Gabe Morrell, who's a great visiting clubhouse guy there, and his group. I said, Greg, I want you to get me an autographed ball for my grandson from Ian Kinsler. He goes, Ian Kinsler? I said, yeah, this kid's got a chance to be in the Hall of Fame.
Wow. I'm sure you told him that when you guys were playing golf a while back.
No, we didn't play that day. They just came in. We were sitting there with Arnold, and they came in to meet at Bay Hill. Meet Arnold, and Arnold talked to him. Of course, their training is right up the street there, in Lakeland.
I know we talked about this a little bit before, but I was a huge Ryan Sandberg fan, so I don't want any Cubs giving me any grief about it. But when Ian Kinsler's done playing, you're going to have to compare the two and really take a look at whether or not he belongs in the Hall of Fame too, because Ryan Sandberg had great numbers, but Ian's also a 30-30 guy twice. All-star several times, impact player. He can really carry a team.
He drove in 92 runs last year.
Yeah, his power numbers are down, but that happens in this ballpark.
Meanwhile, we're halfway home. We have not had a base runner.
Castellanos, McCann, and Machado. They have no runs on 4 hits, no errors. We have no runs, no hits, and no errors.
No, we talked about this a few times, but Coop's got to be excited about Quintana the way he's throwing. He just got to get some run production and just get some things to go his way.
It's just phenomenal. I mean, it really is. It's in my career. There's a nice piece of hitting, but you can't keep the ball down on Castellanos. You keep the ball down on him, he's going to get some base hits.
Yeah, I mean, even on that last pitch, he hits a little soft liner up the middle, but as you see on the replay, I mean, that's a great pitch right there. It's 6 to 8 inches off the plate, and he reaches his bat out and puts it into center field for a hit. Maybe you and I should just stop talking about how Quintana's got bad luck, because
it's amazing.
It's these little things that keep happening to him are just unbelievable.
Here's McCann. He grounded out. Saladino at third.
That ball was 8 inches off the plate and down.
But you can't have any worse luck than he's had. As I said, they ranked all the left-handers in baseball, and he was ranked number 8.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge honor, and I think once the White Sox fresh start probably next year, get hot, get him some W's early, see what he's got. I mean,
yeah, you know yourself. Everything in this game is contagious.
Oh yeah,
everything is contagious. It's either going to be a positive or a negative. Like for you guys in 05, it was contagious and it was a positive.
I mean, we didn't even think anything about baseball as far as like from an approach or anything like mechanics. I mean, we were just riding that high as far as just going out there, and we just knew we had to get it done, and I was fortunate to be a part of that.
There's a breaking ball strike and the count 1-2. And if you're just tuning in, Brian Anderson sitting in for Steve Stone for this game and tomorrow afternoons. Tyler kept it in front of him. Big game up in Toronto. Top of the 5th inning. That game tied at 2.
That is not a team I would want to pitch against. Toronto's just unbelievable.
They're not the best hitting team I've ever seen, but they are probably the most dangerous hitting team I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, there's 3 guys in that lineup that will absolutely tattoo a mistake.
Back him up. He gone. Third double play turn by our guys. They had base running play right there by Castellanos.
Castellanos, I know it wasn't the best base running, but it's a little tough to read that ball. Normally on a line drive, you're taught to go back, not freeze, but Sanchez could have pretty much done whatever he wanted right there. That was kind of one of those tweeners. It could have bounced, so it's hard for the managers. Hard for Brad Ausmus to give Castellanos a tough time there. I mean, that play could have gone either way.
So here's Machado. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, being talking about contagious, I'll tell you who's catching that contagion, I should say, in Toronto is Justin Smoke. He's starting to get that thing. He's got some talent.
Yeah.
He's driving in some big runs for those guys.
He was a Texas Ranger product. I remember Brandon McCarthy saying this guy's got ungodly pop, and Chris Davis was over there, and they had 2 hitters that could just absolutely smash the ball.
And he's just now finding out, yourself, you learn a lot about something when you're playing with somebody or you should. If you're a young player on the White Sox the last 15 years, if you couldn't learn anything from Konerko, then shame on you. Checks it up. But yet on the other side of that page, you had to evaluate him versus yourself, and you had to say to yourself, well, he might be a better fastball hitter. Because there weren't many guys in baseball that could turn a 100-mile-an-hour fastball around better than Paulie.
No, he may be the best top 3 I've seen. And who's also pretty good is Billy Butler with Oakland. I know he's having a down year, but from when he got called up at 20, 21 years old, I mean, that guy was hitting everything.
And he hit it in 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, too, against the good relievers.
Yes.
So that's the first walk of the ball game. Coming to a guy you really didn't want to walk. So with 2 out, Machado at first. Here's Anthony Gose, who singles sharply into center field.
Hawk, how do you feel about the situations where we may go into New York and have a chance to play spoiler? Because I know we were in some situations sometimes, and you always wonder, you know, as the manager. I mean, like you get pissed if, you know, upset if they don't play their best players, or if they're putting someone in there that probably shouldn't be in there.
Well, you've got to play your best players. That's the integrity of the game.
Sure.
You got to protect the integrity, and when we go into the 4-game series in New York, we'll have the best team that we have available on the field for those 4 games. And you got to do it. I mean, when we were running for the pennant, which we finally won and went to the World Series, every time we went someplace, they were trying to kill us. They weren't trying to beat us. They were trying to beat our brains out.
Sure.
And that's the way the game should be played. That's Souvenir left side. Look at some of the in 05, people forget. It's not that we were toking it, but look how great Cleveland was playing. They were coming on like gangbusters. We had a 15.5 game lead and went down to a game and a half.
Yeah, I remember being in Seattle and I had that game against Felix Hernandez, and you know, don't need to even shed light on that. It was more so, you know, those games mattered. Cleveland came back and made things really interesting.
Well, Brian, when Felix Hernandez first came into the league, I think it was his first 3 starts, he had not given up an extra base hit. So he starts against us in Seattle. Second and third inning, Jermaine gets a double down the right field line, and that was the first extra base hit that this young kid, this young phenom, the king, Felix Hernandez, had given up. And later on in that game, Brian got him twice. He got him on a fastball for a homer, and he got him on a curveball for a homer.
You know, it's funny about that. I haven't sniffed a pitch off him since either. And I remember facing him in Chicago, and I think Joey Cora told me I was batting leadoff that day, and it might have been the second game of the doubleheader, but I swear it's just unfair when a pitcher with that ability throw you a 3-1, 2-1, 3-2 changeup or a slider down and away.
Well, you don't do what he's done. He's something.
For all the fans out there, including myself, who say, well, just don't swing at it, I said, well, his fastball's 98 and his sinker's 90, or his changeup's 91, and his changeup looks like a 2-seam fastball. So easier said than done.
Well, you faced him 9 times. You had 2 hits, and both of them left the park. Count hangs at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, that Toronto lineup. Kevin Pillar hit a home run in that ball game. You seen him? He's pretty good player.
No, he's one of those sneaky players that flies under the radar. When you play with that team, you don't get much notoriety, but with the numbers he's put up just about anywhere else, he's probably hitting 3rd or 5th or 2nd. Usually he's right down towards the 7 through 9 hole the times I've seen him play.
Yeah, he's hitting 8th tonight. Full count. One of the few that he's had tonight. He gone. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the 6th inning. We don't have a run or a hit. They don't have a run. They got 5 hits. Of Daniel Norris. The first 5 innings, this young left-hander, 22 years old, retired everybody he saw, 15 in a row. So as we get set to start the 6th inning, he gone. And here's Buck Farmer. It's a different game today.
It is. I'm in disbelief right now. I demand an explanation. Whether, I mean, it's obviously not an injury. He was going down there high-fiving Verlander and his coaches, but apparently I'm missing something.
Pitch count.
Yeah, 17 pitches is not overdoing it.
That's my pet peeve in baseball. You heard me say it before. I just don't understand it. You know, they got a similar situation up in Citi Field with the Mets, with Matt Harvey as Farmer. He's a 24-year-old right-hander of Conyers, Georgia. 6'4", 225. Carlos grounded out to Kinsler, who made a good play to get him. So Daniel Norris, a perfect game through 5, and he has departed. I mean, if he'd been struggling, or if it had been some stressful pitches, he didn't have a stressful pitch out there tonight.
No, I think that, I mean, just based on what I saw after that inning, it was obviously planned, but I can't. You're showing me now 63 pitches. I mean, it's one thing to say 110, 105, or let's just call it an even 100 here, but at 63 pitches, I just can't justify taking somebody out of the game no matter what.
Just foul. Well,
and if he is on a 60 pitch count, then he shouldn't even be in the game. If they're worried about his innings and shutting him down, I say you just shut him down for the season if they're not a playoff contender.
That's amazing. It really is. They're signing these kids to huge money to pitch, and they don't let them pitch.
Well,
he did not go. These kids, here's what gets me, BA, is that we got kids in high school today every week that are throwing more pitches than major league pitchers are throwing.
And that's where you really got to be careful. Little league, those junior leagues, and college, high school, that's where you take care of your arm. That's where you save your arm, so where you can pitch from 30 years old or in your low to mid 30s, and if you're lucky, like Randy Wolf, when you're 40. But we strive to make this game. We strive to get to this point, and
Kinsler's going to get him again.
I just don't get it, huh?
Well, again, you're right. You've got to be careful at the junior leagues, little league, pony league, high school, and even in college you got to be careful. But I'm a son of a gun. When you get high school pitchers throwing 150, 160 pitches in a game and pitching twice a week.
Well, I tell some of my friends who have kids and family that have some youngsters playing it. I said, do you want your kid to be a 12-year-old all-star and hang the trophy up, or do you want your kid to have a chance to play at the highest level? It's usually the parents' fault or the coach's fault when the kid's throwing that much. They're so competitive and their own egos get in the way that they start, not thinking clearly and blowing their son's arms out. My father was great, but I definitely threw too much when I was 12 years old. But my dad didn't know any better.
Right.
And neither did I.
Yeah, but you still had a great arm when you got to the big leagues, too. And that's probably one reason that you had a great arm, is because you did throw a lot when you were 12 years old.
Yeah.
1-1 to Tyler, who grounded out to Kinsler as well.
Well, now that Norris is out of the game, I'd hate to be this kid coming in here. I mean, if you even give up a hit, you failed.
2-1 pitch. That evens the count.
I mean, I'm going to have a talk with Mr. Avila or Brad Osmus after this game, because it's going to cause me to lose sleep tonight. It's just going to bother me not knowing what is the point.
Well, he was coming off the DL. This is the second start since coming off the DL. But again, the way he was throwing the ball, he's hit 95 a couple times, and that's their problem.
I mean, it's tough not to make assumptions, but I got to assume if, you know, Samardzija or Chris Sale are a little bit banged up towards the end of the year here and they're on the DL, Rick Hahn's going to make sure they stay there.
Yeah.
Come back fresh next season.
2 down. Sox fans all season long, you score with Papa John's Pizza. The day after the Sox score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off your entire online order at papajohns.com with the promo code SOX5 at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Tyler Saladino has hit the only ball hard that we hit, real hard I'm talking about, off Daniel Norris. That was a line shot to Ghost in center field.
I got him breaking it up right here, Hawk. I mean, I know my pick to clicks Trace, but kid being so young, so excited to be out there. I don't think he really cares that there's a no-hitter / perfect game going on here.
No, he knows what he's doing out there. Tyler knows how to play this game. It's just a shame last year that he had that Tommy John surgery.
You know, and even coming back from that, he's still such a positive attitude in the clubhouse.
Guys love it.
Yeah, you got to love that. I mean, even the older veteran guys, and I say older, I think LaRoche might be the only guy that's got a ton of time other than Alexi and Johnny Danks, but this kid's going to be good.
Got him. So we still have not had a base runner, and we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Scoreless. Lottery retailer and play today. You could win up to $5,000 a week for the rest of your life. $5,000 a week for the rest of your life. Cash for life. The longer you live, the more you get. Quintana giving up no runs on 5 hits. We've turned 3 double plays for him, or he has thrown 3 double play balls is a better way to frame it. So it'll be the top of the order. Davis, Kinsler, and Cabrera. Big game out or down in Houston. Angels leading 3-0. They scored 3 in the top of the 1st inning. Mike Trout and Albert Pujols both have homered. For Trout, that's his 40th.
Yeah, shocker, both those guys doing well.
Bryce Harper's got 41.
That youth movement we were talking about that's got you all excited. I mean,
I love it.
We joked that Albert Pujols is having a down year, and He's not even 100% healthy. You watch him move around at first base, and I know he's no spring chicken anymore, but he's not. He's moving around like Miguel and Victor a little bit. He's hampered by something. Maybe it's that foot or leg injury he's got.
Down here with 36.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He gone.
Wish I had psychic power sometimes. Tell Quintana. It's unbelievable. I mean, he's pitching such a great game. You could have walked up and told him, like, hey, you're going to get out pitched in the 7th or in the 6th, and you're going to have a shutout. Probably would have laughed at me.
So here's Kinsler. He's gone out to right. And he is grounded to his counterpart, Sanchez.
I mentioned I was talking with Ian a little bit before the game, and in Texas he used to have his hands a little lower and kind of dip and rip. He's such a great power hitter for a second baseman. They're up a little higher.
He just missed that one. High into left field. Yeah, he's making a little different move than we've seen him with his front leg as well. But you look at him as he came into the league, 20 home runs, 18, 31, 32, 19, 17 RBIs. Way up there.
Most impressive thing about him is every year it seems like he scores 110 runs.
Most impressive thing about him to me is not what he hits, it's when he hits it.
Oh yeah.
He drives in big runs. He's one of the best 7th, 8th, and 9th inning hitters in this league.
I mean, when he was with Texas, they went to the World Series back-to-back years, and I mean, he was one little bit extra effort of Nelson Cruz catching that ball and winning a World Series.
Look at Tyler make his own bounce now. That gun over to first base. So Miggy is retired. 1, 2, 3 inning. And we're into the 7th. You know, an athlete is defined by the desire to be active and continue doing the things that you love. So visit Athletico.com and start defining your pain-free inner athlete today. Athletico, the official physical therapy provider of our White Sox. Athletico, better for everybody. Ian Kroll out of Naperville. There you see, making his 31st appearance. So Farmer went 1, No runs, no hits, 2 strikeouts. And here's the top of the order for us. Adam Eaton. He's 0 for 2.
Well, I think we got our reasoning here, Hawk. It's Johnny Holstaff today for the Tigers. Wish they'd have told me that in advance. I wouldn't have gotten so on the edge of my seat the last 6 innings.
That got him. Breaking ball. If you're going to get hit, that's not bad. Believe it or not, if you're just tuning in, that's our first base runner. Top of the 7th inning.
On a 0-0 ball game, Hawk, you'll take a base runner any way you can.
Dadgum right.
Bunting a base hit and scoring, taking the lead.
You got that right, driver. That is any way you can get on.
Although I don't see this guy bunting.
No.
If I were a betting man.
No, but he has the ability to find that hole, a big hole over there between first and second. That ball into right field. And now Adam will tag. JD gets it back in a hurry. So 1 out.
Saw that throw JD just had. He didn't even give it 100%. That just adds to the value of this kid. Almost a 40 home run guy. Still in his late 20s.
I love the approach he's made from a baseball, not from our standpoint because he's hurt us, but from a baseball standpoint, I love the approach that he's learning, continuing to learn on arm side pitchers. He can, if he hits 10 of 15 or 10 of 12 is a better way to put it, and those seats in right field, he's going to hit 40.
Especially at this ballpark. I mean, you got to hit it 420 feet to get it out there.
Yeah, nothing to get in those seats in right. Center field's another story. Miggy last year went over both rows of hedges out there.
Wow.
Up by the camera well.
I don't want to misspeak here, but I could have sworn Jim Thome went dead central here one time. And it was somewhere near that camera crew or just to the left of it, just underneath that Chevy logo.
You don't hit 612 cheapies. Not as strong as he was. That's chop foul.
Well, I always told Jim if he ever came up, 22 homers short of 600 or 700, he could just have mine. I'd hate to see him not get to his milestone.
What a great teammate. What a nice guy, huh?
Best in the business.
Yeah. You could tie him, but you can't beat him.
David Ortiz is the Latin Jim Thome. I got to play with him, and David's just like that. Anything you need, there for you. It doesn't hurt when you're one of the best players in the game. Makes it easy to be nice. Talk to the guy who's hitting a $180 and see how nice he is.
Trace has popped up to first and grounded to third. Castellanos made a good play to get him. Just get him at first. And that's popped up. JD. 2 down. And here's Melky. He's glad to see Norris gone. He was over 2 with 2 strikeouts. One on a curveball, one on a fastball. Houston has come back with a couple of runs. Now trailing the Angels 3-2. Hector Santiago on the bump.
Former White Sox, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a fan of his. I think my little brother asked him for a follow on Twitter, and he did like 5 minutes later. So it's always nice when you can give back to the fans and interact with your fans like that. Twitter wasn't as big when I was playing, even though I was only playing 5-6 years ago.
There he goes, and that pitch is out of play. Yeah, that social media has gotten to be connected to the game of baseball, basketball, football, everything.
I heard a crazy rumor they even got a hold of you.
Yeah.
You and Stoney.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to learn this winter. I'm going to learn a lot more about that. I have told a couple of guys what to tweet a couple of times, but I've never sent a tweet.
Gee, I mean, I know you're one of the best in the game, Hawk, but maybe time you put some fingers on the phone here. Send it out yourself.
I know. I'm going to learn how. I'm going to learn this.
I don't see you as a big publicist guy.
Well, you know, I got a bad temper. So my temper in some of the games we lose, I'm liable to tweet something that would really not be very good.
Hey, you're a passionate guy.
0-2 the count.
You know, Hawk, I think I sent a tweet out the other day on my way up here tagging you in it. I was devastated, didn't get a reply back, but now that I know that you have your people handle it,
yeah,
I'm just going to find out who your person is or people.
That ball hit sharply. Nice play over to Kinsler. It is the 7th inning stretch in a scoreless tie, and we still don't have a hit. You can track the Red Line trains after the game or get a seat upgrade. Download MLB.com Ballpark, the official U.S. Cellular Field Ballpark app for iPhone and Android smartphones. Visit WhiteSox.com/ballpark app to learn more. That's WhiteSox.com/ballpark app to learn more.
Sending you a tweet right now, Hawk.
You are.
Got to.
Here's Victor.
Start investigating. See who gets back to me.
I'll text. I text quite a bit. I just started doing that. There's a strike. 1-1. Until he'll wear you out, as we were talking earlier. Until he'll wear you out with those texts. AJ.
He'll get you.
He gets you.
The most inopportune time as well.
And that's popped up. Stay in here. Oh, yeah. 1 out. Victor now 0 for 3. So here's JD. JD a single and a strikeout. Quintana got him on a good curveball down in the dirt.
Yeah, you make this guy look stupid. You're doing something right up there. I mean, he's up there right top 10 in the league as far as numbers at the plate. Should get a hold of his agent for how much I'm giving him, I'm plugging him during this game, but you got to give credit when credit's due.
Yeah, he doesn't need any help either. He's there. I had a talk with him earlier in the season, and he's got it. He's got it figured out.
Yeah, you know, oftentimes players go through those streaks where they figure it out for a month or two, but this guy's got it dialed in for 2 straight years. And
yeah,
I don't think he's going to lose it.
No, when you're thinking approach, you're on the right track. When you're thinking mechanics, you're dead. There's a strike, and the count's 3-1.
I remember in 2006. I mean, every day was such a mental grind. It was happening to me. I mean, you watch it happen to other people, and you say, "I'll never do that," and you realize it's August, and you're still worrying about where your hands are and things like that.
That has sent more talent, I mean real talent, back home than anything else. It's the wrong thought process.
A lot of expectations in these bigger cities playing it, but big expectations, big reward.
Look at that. That's an approach right there. That's not thinking about where your hands are.
A lot of trust in that swing as well.
Well, he's got 2 strikes. We were talking earlier. You know, there are a lot of guys take the same swing on 0-2 as they do 2-0. Well, that's not a 2-0 swing.
No, but that's also a great pitch by Quintana again.
I'm saying.
Singing his praises all day. And JD goes and just puts it into right field and accepts that base hit to right. And that's what Miguel Cabrera's been doing his whole career. So it probably doesn't hurt that he gets to see him on a daily basis.
Not too many guys have ever had more 2-strike base hits than Miguel Cabrera. He has a different approach with 2 strikes.
I was in center field for plenty of them, and believe me, we finally just said straight up. Just play him straight up.
Castellanos, don't throw him anything down. With his swing, he's a right-handed hitter with a left-hander swing. You get it down and he can hurt you. Go right underneath his hands. There's a base hit. That ball is down out over the plate.
You know, unfortunately with Quintana, he's got so much latent life and sink on his ball. He oftentimes gets a ground ball for a double play right there. It goes to the third baseman. But, I mean, again, they show it right here. Exactly where you didn't want it. Out over the plate. A little bit higher than I thought, but just gets in that hole just out of the reach of Lexi. And Lexi can cover some ground over there.
There's McCann. He's grounded to third and grounded to second. This will be number 92, pitch 92 for Quintana. Duke just got off the phone.
It'd be pretty unbelievable if they made a pitching change. I know Coop and Robin have a plan, but it takes me sitting in the booth to see a guy get taken out with a perfect game and the other guy gets taken out with a shutout.
Yeah. Yanks that one foul. There's the Jackmeister. And a count 2-1.
Saw that picture of Jake in the bullpen, a video of him throwing. Cleaned it up a little bit. He had a little scruff in spring training from what I remember. It's clean cut. It's like a different pitcher.
That evens count. Yeah, Jake's got a great arm.
Yeah. It's one of those guys you watch in a bullpen or you watch him throw live BP, and those aren't the pitches you want to draw day one because they know what they're doing. They got that heavy sink, a lot of life on the ball. Ideally, you want somebody throwing fastballs out over the dish, but you don't always get that.
Good try, just missed. So a full count with 2 on 1 out. Got a young hitter at the plate. And we'll see what they want to do with it. That breaking ball, and that's yanked foul.
You'd love to see a ground ball right here out of Quintana and get an inning-ending double play. Definitely earned it here. At least another opportunity for the White Sox to score and give him an opportunity to win.
Base hit. And here's the throw. Tried to do too much too quick. And it's 1-0 Tigers.
Great piece of hitting right here by McCann. Spanky got a good read on it. Got it out of his hand. Throws a little high, but he's got a great arm. I think he'd have been safe either way, but a lot closer than I anticipated.
Yeah, he would have been safe.
JD Martinez took a shot from Flowers right in the face, and Flowers is a big boy.
We got the best throwing outfield in this league.
Yeah.
We got 3 guys who can throw, and they're all accurate.
Well, I remember Melky, 5 years ago, 5+ years ago, he had incredible arm when he played with the Yankees. I remember him throwing from left right field. Can't pinpoint where he was, but I remember he used to come out of his hand hot.
Yeah, our guys can throw, and they're all accurate. So Coop has his say. 3 straight hits. And here's Dixon Machado. He's grounded to short, and he has walked. That pitch is low.
You can't really blame Quintana. It's probably in the back of his head thinking, I gave up a run here. He's probably trying to be a little bit too fine with his off-speed stuff because he knows that Detroit's pitching so well, the whole staff's pitching so well today, he might not have an opportunity to win.
There's a strike. Well, one thing about it, he's used to it.
I don't think anybody gets used to.
He is used to pitching with no runs.
I don't know if anybody gets used to not getting their due.
He's an amazing young man. He got a cookie right there and couldn't do anything with it, thank goodness. Souvenir right side. Gap out there in left center. And the count evens at 2. Take him right here. Don't want to go full. Gotta hurry. 2 down.
Be nice for Quintana to get out of this inning with just 1 run, give himself a chance, pick up that W. I know I've been repeating myself quite a bit, but feel for the guy.
You got to, especially
wins and losses aren't everything. I mean, the ERA and quality starts. I know they should put a lot of emphasis on that, especially this quality starts. But he's pitched extremely well tonight. I mean, 103 pitches through 6 2/3. I mean, he deserves to at least have a chance.
And if you knew him, you'd even have more emotion for him because he's one of the nicest young men you'll ever meet. Here's Ghost. He's 1 for 2, a single, a hard single to center, and a strikeout.
Another hard worker as well. Every time I went in that weight room in spring training, he was in there with AT and Dale Torborg getting his work in. And it's easy to kind of slack off when you're only playing once every 5 days, but he's a workhorse.
2-0. This is the guy you want right here, Jose. Grabs a strike with that curveball.
Buddy of mine you met in the hotel yesterday, Glenn Pakalak, his father Glenn, here at the game. Detroit native, lived here his whole life, first time ever to Comerica Park, and today just so happens to be his birthday, so it was really nice of you to throw down that ball for him and take care of him.
First time ever. Huh?
Ever.
Two and a full count. Rajai Davis on deck. Well, they've been averaging a lot of people here, 33,800.
Nice turnout considering.
Yeah. Just did get a piece of that one. Yesterday in that day-night doubleheader, there weren't fannies and seats, but tickets sold for that first game of 34,175. Non-scheduled game. He gone. Cook. But they come up with a run, and we'll go to the 8th. We trail it 1-0. September 30th, 2008, and look at this catch by the fella sitting next to me for the final out in one of the most exciting games and historical games in White Sox history.
You know how smart I was. I dove and caught the ball. I was so excited to get in there and celebrate. I took the ball out of my glove and I think I threw it at Dwayne Wise and left. And Griffey and I are celebrating. Dwayne had to go run and go get it and bring it back. Just clueless sometimes.
That was some kind of catch. I made a few of those though.
Did you see the guy that was on the mound?
Oh yeah, Bobby.
I don't really want to deal with him if I dropped it.
Tell you what, I'll always have a spot. All Sox fans will always have a spot in the heart for Bobby Jenks for what he did as a rookie.
Yep.
In 05. How many stones that took from him?
Oh my gosh.
We trail it 1-0. Here's Avi. It'll be Avi and Alexei and Sanchez. Kinsler. So Drew Verhagen on for Ian Kroll. Gets out number 1. And you can enter the White Sox Fan Appreciation Sweepstakes now for the chance to win unique prizes, including a jersey autographed by the 2005 White Sox. Tickets to Fan Appreciation Day, October 4th, and you can win much, much more. Visit WhiteSox.com/summer sweeps. Yes, he did.
How'd you like to be one of these kids coming out of the bullpen? Usually September, nothing to lose, come out here and just let it eat, but all the pressure's on them to get outs right now.
And in the finale tomorrow, that is a 12:08 start. Frankie Montas getting his first start for our Sox, and he'll be opposed by Justin Verlander. And that's the guy you hit pretty well.
Well, Justin's special. I don't think he loses any sleep if I pick up a single off him. A couple Cy Youngs and maybe sneak an MVP in there in one of those years.
Well, you were 4 for 9 off of him.
I'll trade him paychecks right now. Go over.
1 out, 1-2 the count. And there's Frankie, hard throwing right-hander against the veteran Justin Verlander. He's been pitching well the last few times up. That's a fair ball. Long peg. It's high. And he's safe. Good action right there by Alexei on the late slide, but he got the job done.
Well, depending on whether or not Miggy tagged him, they may review this play. It's tough to tell from up here, but you know, if Miggy just missed him altogether, obviously he's safe, but at some point. Tough to tell from that angle, Hawk.
Yep.
Even this one. It'd be nice to get one from the third base side. Yeah, I think he got him. Just barely grazed the back.
Major League Baseball has 2 cameras in every park that we don't have. Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, they're going to review that.
2 cameras that we don't have, and we don't know where they are, and we can't use them.
Yeah.
So they get different angles. They get some different angles than we can.
I'll tell you what, that rule is incredible. Isn't there a rule stating that whatever, yeah, the fans just saw it. I mean, obviously he's going to get called out, but isn't there a rule that if whatever decision they make in New York and relay it, that the manager can't come out and argue or else he gets tossed, right?
Yeah, he's out. It's 2 gone. The system right now is certainly imperfect.
Sure.
There's no question about it. And I have complete confidence in Joe Torre and John Schuerholz that they will get this thing fixed out, because it's crazy now. If you got the technology, the only thing is, I think, for me, this is just my opinion, I don't think that you should have to wait to have the manager should have to wait to have one of his people view it and then take the time to get back out to him. If you want to appeal it, do it right then.
Yeah, it's got to happen within 10, 20 seconds.
Happen right then.
And you better believe they're down there with 3 different guys watching that video before they throw the flag.
Here's Carlos. Carlos 0 for 2.
I always enjoyed the human element of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously in the bigger games and playoffs, World Series, of course. But when it comes to balls and strikes and safe out at the bag, I think you got to let that go and just let that be the umpire's call. Now, when you're talking about fair and foul and playoff implications, World Series type stuff, home runs, did a fan touch it? Sure, but you're reviewing every play. It's just getting out of control.
He got him. So that's a 1-2-3 inning for Verlander. We've only had one base runner in this game, and we trail at 1-0. The tape is the bottom of the 8th inning. We do not have a run, nor do we have a hit. We have had one base runner, and that was a hit by a pitch. So another typical Jose Quintana game. They did not get any runs for him. This time not even any hits. He departs after 7 innings, giving up 1 run. And Jake Meister. Petrichka comes on. It'll be the top of the Tiger order: Davis, Kinsler, and Cabrera. Well, you've been watching it from afar. Now you get to witness it up close and personal on the woes and travails of Jose Quintana.
I hate it. I feel bad for him.
Got to. I've never seen anything like it in my career. That's a can of corn. Davis now 1 for 4. Last year, Quintana was 17 no decisions.
Imagine half of your starts you get no decision. I don't know what the norm is. Obviously, I don't.
That's a new record.
I don't focus too much on that, but 5 to 10 would seem to be the norm through 30, 35 starts. But 17 is ridiculous.
Here's Kinsler. Ian has gone out to right, grounded to second, and gone out to left. He just missed that one to left. Checks it up, takes a strike.
Even the minor adjustments Ian's made in his stance, holding his hands a little bit higher. He's a Rudy Jaramillo product out of Texas, and all those guys, early stride, get the foot down early. That could be problematic sometimes. You load twice and you get caught in between, but those guys from that era really figured it out.
He gone. Well, getting that foot down early is going to be a thing of the past. You can't get any hang time when the foot gets down too quick.
Nope.
Here's Cabrera. You watch all the good young hitters coming into today's game. They're trying everything they can to keep that front foot up.
Yeah, Josh Donaldson, Joey Bats, Trout a little bit.
All the big leg kicks.
Yeah, JD's doing it. JD Martinez.
Alexei. That didn't take long for the Jake. And we're into the ninth. We trail at 1-0. As he tries to break the White Sox single season record. That's not tomorrow. Frankie Montas is starting tomorrow, so this is the wrong one. Frankie Montas is making his first start, and it will be against Justin Verlander. Andrew Romine. Neftali Feliz. Romine at third. Feliz, a new pitcher. And we have a chance to be no hit here. If you're just tuning in, we don't have a hit. We've had one base runner. That was when Adam Eaton got hit by a pitch leading off the seventh.
Neftali Feliz, Hawk.
Ooh.
2010, 2011.
Ooh. J.B. Shuck's going to hit for Flowers. Neftali could rush it up there.
It was probably the easiest 100 I've ever seen. It looks effortless. I know he's dealt with some arm problems, which, probably throwing 97 now, but
that pitch could have gone either way. It went JB's way.
Excuse me, that was 96. was way off.
Yeah, that was, he had some kind of release. That pitch could have gone either way. It's 2-0.
Charlie Feliz, one of those pitches they fiddled with a little bit. You know, weren't sure if they want him to be a starter or closer. And if you're that dominant as a closer, I got to figure you just let him be.
Exactly.
I watched Bobby Jenks start in 2001 or 2002 Fall League as a starter, and I never saw him again until he started closing. And I was like, well, he's no longer going to be a starter anymore.
A 1-0 Tiger lead here in the top of the ninth. Yes, he did. And the count 2-2. And that's out of play. That one at 97. And a reminder, the most popular way to follow the action of White Sox is with MLB.com at bat. What an app that is. At bat brings you baseball wherever you are with live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcast, TV broadcast, and more. Download the MLB.com at bat. And there's out number one.
It's got to be tough. Got to be tough coming off the bench doing what JB did. A guy throwing 97 miles an hour in on your hands, slider at 90. I've been in that seat too many times. I know how it feels. I mean, you feel like the best player in the ballpark if you get a hit, but sitting there for 2.5, 3 hours coming off the bench and facing somebody's closer is not the best thing or the funnest thing to do.
And then you go up there, you look at first ball, fastball, and here comes a slider on the black. Now you're 0-1.
You got a million things going through your head, wondering.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Mental chaos. I never had to pinch hit much, but I'll tell you, I did a few times, and it was no fun.
Well, especially now, this day and age. Chances of you facing anybody throwing 93, 94, it ain't going to happen.
Let me tell you something. Facing in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, what's coming out of the bullpen today versus when I played, is no comparison.
I mean,
these guys coming out today, I never had to face these guys. I never had to face 97, 98, 100 coming out of the bullpen. The guys we faced were guys, starters who were going bad.
Yeah. Crafty ones at that. I got to imagine they were around for a reason, though.
Yeah, but they weren't. Okay, you can cancel a post-game show, and you called it. Tyler was going to break it up. Meanwhile, he's going to turn it on, and he's going to make it to third. So we got the tying run on with 1 out.
Hesitated a little bit right there. I thought he was going to shut it down at second base. Could have walked to third.
You said you felt he was going to be the one.
You watch Tyler take batting practice. I mean, he hits line drive after line drive all over the field. Smokes this one in the left center field gap. Slowed down around second base. Couldn't figure out why. He could have walked to third and almost had a situation, but now the White Sox are back in shape to possibly tie the game.
They bring the infield in, and here is Adam. Adam 0 for 2. And that's dadgummit, just foul.
As good as Neftali Feliz is, the White Sox are probably licking their chops with him coming in. They're like, finally a guy that throws 98 but straight. Everyone else had a bunch of tilt on it, and lefties and righties, young kids trying to prove themselves.
That's a big pitch right there. It makes it 1-1. Another big pitch coming.
Those younger kids out there, I mean, probably crazy for them to think now, but there'll be a day where you're begging for a guy throwing 100, but as long as it's straight, you're fine with it. A la, Joel Zumaya. Yeah. Konerko loved facing him.
And this game is tied at 1 and still going.
Spanky getting it done, Hawk.
He's good. He is good.
You know, didn't crush it, but got it through the hole there, tie the ball game up. But it's when you know the city of Detroit's upset where you are in the AL Centrals. They're booing you because you gave up 1 run.
Yeah. But you know, he's still got to work on his technique and stolen bases. Because with his speed, he should be stealing them much easier. But he can learn that. That's something he can learn.
Sure.
And the only fault he has as a player, certainly he doesn't have any faults as a leadoff guy. But don't. It's like you've been in center field. What's the toughest play for you in center field?
The ball hit right at you.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's the only time he ever has any trouble with a read is when a line shot hit right at him. And that happens to every center fielder. That's going to kick foul.
You know, I always thought that if you're unsure, it's better to take a small step back and take a step forward. Because if you go forward and that ball goes over your head and that guy has any speed, it's at least a triple.
That's when you got to figure out before the ball is hit. If I make a mistake, how am I going to make it?
Yeah.
And that's what you just figured it.
You know, to shed some light too is, you know, I was a great base runner, but I was not a good base stealer. I was average at best. And I think it's because I didn't get a big enough lead at first base. I mean, I don't know just from looking today. And, you know, I know that Vince Coleman was in town and they got great base running coaches, and I'm sure they're working with them, but it could be something as small as that. I was always told growing up, you know, I'd rather you get picked off than you get thrown out every time. And I'd rather you getting picked off, getting a lead where you can succeed and get to the second base, you know, than get thrown out by a step every single time.
One out and a 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball. Well, I just think that, guys, there's a knack of stealing bases. I could run a little bit, and I stole some bases, and there's a knack for it. He's trying to get the right pitch. He's trying to get the right momentum. There he goes. Got him.
And you can't throw
right
that
on the money. I mean, I don't care what your name is. You gone.
That is textbook throw, catch and throw. You can't throw a ball much better than this on a breaking ball too. Cutter from Neftali Feliz. He throws it right on the money. I mean, Adam deserved a stolen base right there. You just got to tip your cap to the catcher.
Yep.
When that ball meets him, it greets him as he's sliding in. Just gets him there on the left hand.
Yeah, that's perfect right there. But we come up with a run, and we'll go to the bottom of the ninth, tied at 1. got Saladino on third base. Adam Eaton at the plate. There's a single, knocking in Saladino to tie the game at 1, and also extending Adam Eaton's hit streak to 11. So Petrichka still on the bump. Giovanni Soto comes into the ball game behind the plate for Tyler Flowers. And for Detroit, it will be Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez. The first two. Andrew Romine is scheduled to be the third one. Victor's 0 for 3. Yeah, that throw by McCann was
a lot of things this game.
Picture perfect.
Wow. Quite a few things happened in this game. I just am in disbelief. You know, from their pitching and Quintana's bad luck to.
Well, he actually had good luck tonight.
Yeah.
Because he got off the hook.
If that's good luck, you should go look at a different profession, because he deserves a lot better than that.
I know it, but that's good luck for him. That's a can of corn. Melky. That young man you're looking at, Daniel Norris, went 5 innings, did not allow a base run. Threw 63 pitches, and because it was his second start after coming off the DL, they took him out.
I'm gonna mum's the word on this one. I'm not even gonna comment on that. Other than that, challenge a statistician to find out the last guy had a perfect game in the 5th that got yanked for any reason.
First pitch strike to JD, who is 2 for 3 with the lone Tiger run. JD has faced Jake 7 times, and he's 0 for 7. Minnesota continues to play some good baseball. They're leading Cleveland 3-1, top of the 5th at Target Field. That's Souvenir right side. Bottom of the 8th in Toronto, 3-2 Yankees.
I still get confused. You know, some of these teams that, as an outsider looking in, you think they're out of the race. Minnesota, Cleveland, and then you forget about that second wild card. You can play into that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for fans, great for baseball, but I forget sometimes. I think these teams are 10 games back, and they're, 2 games out of the second wild card spot.
Yeah. Minnesota's 3 games back. New York and Houston in a virtual tie. Angels 3.5 back. Hey, one thing about JD Martinez, as long as he maintains, as you check out the wild card, as long as he maintains this approach that he's using, he's going to be dangerous. He's going to be good.
And I'd hate to be in the Angels clubhouse and them not getting the playoffs for the amount of money they spend, the talent they have. Gosh.
He did not go.
There's that check swing you're talking about, Hawk.
Yeah, I told you, if I was hitting coach, I would have them work on that every spring and throughout the course of the season. I'm not talking about extensive work. I'm talking about work on it 5 minutes a day, 6 minutes a day, checking it up, developing your own technique. It's like a fingerprint.
Well, there's definitely some guys that do it better in the game than others.
Well, with the way pitching is today, you guys are getting a lot more 2-strike breaking balls in the dirt than we did.
Why do you think that is?
The strike zones are different. And we didn't have to worry about it. If it was foul down, we didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, they called a lot higher strikes.
Oh,
I've
sure.
seen some of those games.
So they didn't throw breaking balls in the dirt that much.
Yeah, well, when you can elevate a high fastball, you know, chest high, and get outs with it, you live up there.
Yeah. He gone. 2 down. No, he's still there. Fouled it off.
I thought it swung and missed too.
Payoff pitch. Carlos has got him. Now there's 2 down, and that'll bring up Romine. Andrew hitting in Castellanos' spot. Nick was 2 for 3.
I don't know if you noticed JD Martinez getting down the line right there, but something for the youngsters at home to watch. Ground ball to second base 99 times out of 100 you're out, but he's flying down the line. It's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Well, the way guys foul tips there. The way guys as a team go from home to first can define an organization.
There's exceptions, I think, with health reasons, and you know, a guy like Jim Thome, we're like, hey, you know, if you don't want him hurting the back, pulling a hamstring, because then
there are always exceptions.
Yeah, but the younger guys, if you're under the age of 30 and you don't sprint to first, we got problems.
We didn't have too many of those problems. We usually took care of those ourselves. The manager didn't have to.
Well, nowadays you can't. Players are making so much money. If you're a rookie or you're making under a couple $1 million and you hit some guy and break his nose, you get released.
He's right.
Well, that's why everyone was so nice to me in 2006. I was batting $150. They always thought, they didn't know if I was going to start laughing or just peel off and hit him in the face.
That's in the right field. Tracy's got him. So that's a nice 1-2-3 inning, and we're in extra innings. Tied at 1.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Extra innings here at Comerica Park, along with Brian Anderson sitting in for Steve Stone for this game and tomorrow's. We have ourselves a 1-1 tie and a pitching change. It'll be Blaine Hardy coming on for Detroit. He is the 6th Tiger pitcher. He's 28 years old. Out of Edmonds, Washington.
Had a chance to play with this kid in minor leagues with the Kansas City Royals. He was, I believe, in high A or or actually low A or high A, and he's a big prospect for the Royals.
He's 6'6", a big guy, 6'6", 230.
Gee, they got him listed at 6'6". I don't know about all that. I don't remember him being that big.
Yeah, 6'6", 229.
He's paying the media relations guy to put that in there. He's got good stuff, though.
That breaking ball catches the outside corner, and Trace in the hole, 0-2. Trace 0 for 3. Trace got a nice plate presence.
From the way he's been swinging it, he hasn't gone 0 for too many times in his career, his short career. About due for a hit here.
There's a nice gap out there in left center if he can find it. And there is a nice change way out in front. 1 out. So here's Melky. Melky 0 for 3, a couple strikeouts and a fielder's choice. And if you're just getting home tuning in, we did not have a hit in this ball game for 8 1/3 innings. We only had one base runner. That was Adam Eaton being hit by a pitch leading off the 7th. That's into right. JD's got him. Two down.
Those are the times you think your scout's right there. JD had to run about 3 or 4 steps to his left, but that ball was hit pretty well. You know, as a hitter, you love for those to drop, but nowadays with scouting reports, I mean, JD was practically sitting right there. Can of corn line drive if there ever was one.
Yeah, because of positioning. That's one of my favorite things to watch in a ball game. It's the last thing I do. I did it as a player when I was on base. You always check your outfielders, and before every pitch I check the outfielders. It's just been a habit for over half a century. Yes, he did.
I don't remember a time we were playing them and Placido Polanco was absolutely killing us. I mean, one of the best hitting infielders, always up the middle the other way. I mean, I was practically playing deep second base for a while there, and he finally smoked one in the left center field gap, and I went back out there and played straight up just because it was out of control. He beat us so many times with that base hit over the second baseman's head that we were doing anything we could to take it away from him.
Boy, he beat us a few times, didn't he? Another 1-2-3 inning. That one for Blaine Hardy. And we'll go to the bottom of the 10th. Tied at 1.
innings we have enjoyed this year. Not so much because there were extra innings, but because we won. This is our 17th extra inning game. In the first 16, we won 13 of them. That's quite a record. We played 6 on the road. We won 5 of those. Tigers on the other side of that page. This is their 17th. And in the first 16, they split them 8-8. They have played 9 here at Comerica Park, and they won 5 of them.
Isn't that incredible? 2 completely different teams, both in the high teens and extra inning games, with how many games you play and all the different things that happen.
So here's James McCann. He has the lone Tiger RBI with that base hit back in the 7th inning, knocking in J.D. Martinez. Outfield, for the most part, straight up. That's up high, 2-1.
You know, it's funny you say Adam Eaton's straight up, because, you know, from our view he's just slightly to the left, but I guess when you play center field there really is no straight up. You can't stand right behind second base, can't see. So you got to pick one side or the other. So
yeah. When you're in center, could you see the signs from the catcher?
Oh no.
You could?
No. I couldn't see a good slider from the pitcher's mound. How do you expect me to?
Yeah. There's a 2-hopper. And out number 1.
I like to think that I knew our pitchers well enough to know what type of pitches they throw in certain counts, and
watch where the catcher set up.
Yeah, and I mean, you see those guys 30 times every year. You start picking up on their tendencies. And
yeah, I played center field coming up, and sometimes, not so much at night, but in the daytime, I could see the signs from the catcher. And then you see the sign, you watch it, and then all of a sudden now, the biggest thing that does is you were a terrific outfield, and you know yourself, you can't take that pop up with that strikeout out to the field with you. You can't do it. And if you do, you can't get a good jump on the ball. The only way you can get a good jump is by being in the game.
Yeah.
And what those little things do, they just kept you in the game more. I don't care if you struck out 2 or 3 times in a row.
Hey, 2, not 3. I mean, every once in a while 3, but maybe once or twice. 3's a stretch. A few of those hat tricks in there, though.
Dixon Machado. He's 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs to Alexei, his counterpart, and a base on balls. Double barreled activity for our guys. There's Albers on the right, Zach Duke on the left. Also, if you're just getting home, Jose Quintana once again was outstanding. 7 innings, 1 run. And at least he gets off the hook.
From what you told me, that's pretty much a win for him this year, considering what he's been through.
Well, you know, he's still Burley went through a couple of years there where every time he left when he was down by a run or so, he never got off the hook.
Yeah, I think if Quintana were making $16 million, I think he'd just stick with his quality start stat too.
Yeah. Tyler recovers to make a very accurate and strong throw.
All the people out there that say baseball players aren't athletes, Tyler Saladino should have gone down for the count right there, but still comes up and fires a strike over to Abreu.
So Jake Meister has done his job.
What a nice job. Coming on in the 8th inning, he works 2 2/3. Petrichka. Jake worked 2 2/3, no runs, no hits, no walks, 1 strikeout. And here's Zach.
Zach's another pitcher that resurrected his career coming out of the bullpen. He battled some injuries there in Pittsburgh. I faced him in the minor leagues. He was, over the top, low 90s with a big curveball, and now he's more of a 3/4 arm, that sweeping breaking ball, and nice sinker.
Yeah, we saw him when he was over the top with Pittsburgh. So here's Anthony Gose. Anthony, a base hit, his first at bat, then he struck out twice.
One of those strikeouts, nasty breaking ball by Jose Quintana.
Outfield slightly to the left for Gose. Bit of a gap out there in left center. And a lot of room between Trace and that right field line. One and 2 the count. It's another way outfielders can get some help too. Before I broke my leg and my ankle, the last couple of years I played right field, I knew every changeup that was coming to a left-handed hitter.
Certainly doesn't hurt, get that read.
Exactly. But again, it's just another way of staying in that ball game. Second baseman would give them to me, closed hand, open hand.
Yeah, you mentioned can't take a poor at bat with you on defense, especially in the outfield. Remember, there's no one else behind us out there. You make a mistake out there, the fans will let you know real quick what they think of you.
Here's the payoff pitch. So that's good speed aboard. And that'll bring up Rajay Davis. I remember when Piniella was an outfielder, Lou was an outfielder with the Yankees. He'd be playing right field. He'd strike out, and he'd go to right field, and he'd be out there in the outfield.
Taking dry hacks?
Oh, yeah.
You know who else used to do that, but he was having an MVP type, caliber season, was Carlos Quentin.
Yeah. He was doing that.
He would take
day.
dry hacks naked in the shower. He'd take dry hacks in left field. He'd chew his fingernails down to the nubs, where I'd have to like smack his hands away from his mouth. But you also don't want to change his routine, because he hit almost 40 homers and 100 and something RBIs.
Yeah, if it didn't break his hand, he had an MVP one.
Yeah, I let Dustin Pedroia know that. Every chance I get,
Do you zing him?
Yeah, I mean, Dustin's top 3 second baseman in the game when he's healthy.
Yeah.
That MVP year he had, he definitely earned it. But man, Carlos was in the driver's seat until he broke his hand. Self-inflicted.
Yeah. Jake Arrieta got Milwaukee shut out through 7.
Just going to say Carlos Quentin was one of the best competitors I ever played with. So competitive. To a fault, like to the point where it was almost counterproductive.
It was with him.
Well, for him, I mean, he beat himself up so bad, and I had to pull him aside sometimes. Same, Konerko and Creed, like, man, you're hitting. He hated that he'd get out, and he just expected so much out of himself that 280 wasn't going to cut it for him, even though he had 30-something homers and 100 RBIs through 4.5 months of the season.
The 2-0 pitch. It's 3-0. Now feels for the most part straight up. And there's one. Arrieta going for number 20.
He's something else.
He had the best stuff we've seen all year against us.
A few highlights I've seen of him, man. He's just got put away stuff, and just when you think you got to figure out, he throws a front door cutter at 90.
Yeah, that's trouble. That's trouble. That's going to be the ball game. When you get Ghost on with that speed he's got down into any corner. So, well, you saw a memorable game. Brian Anderson sitting in for Steve Stone tonight and tomorrow as well. You did a terrific job, buddy.
I appreciate it, Hawk. I wish we had a better outcome, but.
All right, let's take another look at that winning run here.
Yeah, I mean, it's what 2 out walks will kill you. Rajai Davis, you got to tip your cap. He does a great job going the other way with it. Not much of a chance for Trace Thompson. He's got a great arm, but with Anthony Ghosts' speed, it's pretty much ball game once it gets in that corner.
All right, so the Sox won that doubleheader yesterday. They lose a tight one here today, but Jose Quintana once again was just outstanding. Wow. But at least he did not take the loss. He went 7 innings, giving up just a 1 run. And a tough loss for our guys. All right. So, for my partner tonight, Brian Anderson, for our director, Jim Angier, our producer, John Walgren, our associate producer, Dave Ross, our very fine technical manager, Mark Harper, also for Jeff Morrill, for Pat Collar, Mark Emmons, Aaron Carr, Warren Wilson, and our executive producer, Jim Corno Jr. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.